We'd like to start the evening with, I am proud to introduce from the Medina High School Encore Group, we have senior Mia Masala and junior Graham Dennis, who are going to give us some entertainment while we get ready for dinner. So welcome them to the stage.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can.
Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your voice is like a breath of rain, your voice is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene.
He talks about you in his sleep, there's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. And I can easily understand how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can.
You could have your choice of men, but I can never love again. He's the only one for me, Jolene. I've had to have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you. Whatever you decide to do, Jolene.
Jolene, 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 Jolene,
I'm begging of you, please don't take my man.
Jolene, 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 please don't take him even though you can.
Oh, got me checking my phone like every 5 minutes. Light up the screen just to see your name in it. Something about you that I can't seem to lose. You started the fire, no need to defuse. I do not know who's gonna make the first move. You better be quick for I start singing blues. This game we're playing when nobody wins soon would be over if you let me in. Let's go for a ride in the back of your car. Show me the places where you hide your scars. You are the sun and I am the moon. You are the fire and I am the fuse. So light me up like 1,000 fires. Take me up 1,000 miles to the place where the choir sing. Fly down with your angel wings. Oh, 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 oh. Got me running in circles and biting my nails, trying to leave my worries on the ground. Something about you that my brain can't compute. I'm overheated just thinking it through. I do not know if you've even moved on from that girl that you dated for so long. Did she make you happy, happy as I do? Wouldn't it be fun to try something new? Let's go for a ride in the back of your car. Show me the places where you hide your scars. You are the sun and I am the moon. You are the fire and I am the fuse. Light me up like 1,000 fires. Take me up 1,000 miles to the place where the choir sing. Fly down with your angel wings. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, if you give me one shot, I will give it my all. Promise I'll always pick up if you call. Give you my hand should you ever fall, unless you fall for me. So light me up like 1,000 fires. Take me up 1,000 miles to the place where the choir sing. Light on with your angel wings. So, oh, oh, oh. Turn it up a little.
Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times. Welcome to the final show. Hope you're wearing your best coat. Can't rob the door on your way to the sky. You look pretty good down here. You ain't really good. We never learned we've been here before. Why are we always stuck and running from the bullets? The bullets. We never learned we've been here before. Why are we always stuck and running from the bullets? The bullets. Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times. Gotta get away from here. Gotta get away from here. Just stop your crying, it'll be alright. They told me that the end is near. You gotta get away from here. Just stop your crying, have the time of your life. Breaking through the atmosphere. Things are pretty good from here. Remember, everything will be alright. We can meet again somewhere far away from here. We never learned we've been here before. Why are we always stuck and running from the bullets? The bullets. We never learned we've been here before. Why are we always stuck and running from the bullets? The bullets. We don't talk enough. We should open up, for it's all too much. Will we ever learn we've been here before? It's just what we know. Stop your crying, baby, it's a sign of the times. Gotta get away. Gotta get away. Let's do it. They tell you while you're young, girls go out and have your fun. Then they hunt and slay the ones who actually do it. Criticize the way you fly when you're soaring through the sky. Shoot you down and then they sigh and say, she looks like she's been through it. Lord, what will become of me once I've lost my novelty? I've had too much to drink tonight. And I know it's sad, but this is what I think about. And I wake up in the middle of the night and I can feel time moving. How could a person know everything at 18 but nothing at 22? Will you still want me when I'm nothing new?
How long will it be cute? All this crying in my room, when you can blame it on my youth and roll your eyes with affection. And my cheeks are growing tired, I'm turning red and faking smiles. Are we only bidding time to lose your attention? Someone else lights up the room, people loving ingenue. I've had too much to drink tonight. How did I go from growing up to breaking down? And I wake up in the middle of the night and I can feel time moving. How can a person know everything at 18 but nothing at 22? And will you still want me when I'm nothing new?
I know someday I'm gonna meet her. It's a
Fever dream, that kind of radiance you only have
at 17. She'll know the way, and then she'll say she got the map
from me. I'll say I'm happy for her, then I'll cry myself to sleep. I've had too much to drink tonight,
but I wonder if they'll miss me once they drive me out. And I wake up middle of the night and I can feel time moving. How can a person know everything at 18 but nothing at 22?
And will you still want me? Will you still want me? Will you still want me when I'm nothing new? And I'd give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now.
And all I can taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your life. And sooner or later it's over. Just don't wanna miss you tonight.
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.
And you can't fight the tears that ain't coming, or the moment of truth in your lies. When everything feels like the movies, yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am.
I just want you to know who I am.
I just want you to know who I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Mia and Graham. Thank you, you two. Thank you very much for that. Good evening. My name is Ken Stump. I am the Medina City Schools Foundation president, and welcome to the 11th Medina City Schools Hall of Fame induction. The foundation is excited to sponsor and host this event in partnership with the Medina High School Student Council and the founder of the Hall of Fame, Gene Pritchard. You may already be familiar with the foundation. We have supported the students and staff at the Medina City Schools for more than 30 years through scholarships, through classroom grants providing additional opportunities for students, and peer tutoring programs through the Joyce B. Ebner Tutoring Center located at the Medina High School. We are led by an outstanding and committed board, generously supported through various fundraising events, local businesses, families, and individuals. This evening, we are joined by foundation members Doug Dukes, Jeff Carson, and Scott Tuchek. If you could please stand to be recognized. We would also like to extend a special thank you to Gene Pritchard for all that she does. Gene? Under Jean's leadership as a former advisor to the Student Council, she laid the foundation for the Hall of Fame and has continued to lead the efforts of this great tradition. There's substantial work that goes on behind the scenes to put on an event like this. So we would like to thank Jared Fry as the general manager of Medina TV, Amy Busby, the director of community relations, and Debbie Blasek as secretary to the Community Relations Department for all their work in making this event possible. Thank you. I would also like to recognize the members of the Hall of Fame committee. They are Amy Busby, Brad Cavey, Gretchen Delac, Doug Dukes, Kim Halleck, Shelley Luthold, Hub Marquis, Cato Call, Gene Pritchard, Aaron Sable, Jim Shields, Scott Tuchek, and Nancy Valentine. Tonight, I am honored to be able to guide you through this evening's program, recognizing an outstanding group of individuals for their life accomplishments in the arts, athletics, career achievements, and service to the Medina community. Before we start meeting our inductees, I would like to introduce past honorees who are here in attendance. Kim Alber, Rich Doyle, Dave Knight, Mitch Lehman, Gene Pritchard, and Jay Peters. We would also like to remember those inductees who have left us, Jim Wells and Virginia Draven. Jim Wells was arguably the best male athlete in school history, playing Major League Baseball, and then finishing his career playing softball well into his 70s. Jim was a former high school teacher who just loved Medina. Virginia was a 6-term school board member who was passionate about her love to the school system and the community. She also served as a 2-term city council person. Virginia is best remembered for advocating for the planting of trees, personally supervising many of those installations. They both will be missed. We are also honored to have the Medina City School Board members who are present, including President Rebecca Parkhurst, Vice President Jean Pritchard, and member Andrew West. Also in attendance this evening are district administrators, including Treasurer Dave Chambers, Director of Community Relations Amy Busby, Director of Technology Craig Komar, and Business Director Ryan O'Cull. This special evening recognizes Medina High School graduates and those who have made significant contributions and provided extraordinary service to the Medina community or chosen field. Members of the Hall of Fame are recognized in the following categories: academic, career, or life accomplishments, athletics, cultural and performing arts, major contributions to the Medina City Schools, and special honorary achievement. Tonight, a slideshow with remarks from friends, family members, and colleagues has been prepared for each inductee. Afterward, I invite the inductee to come forward to accept their award and make a brief comment. Thank you to Jared Fry, General Manager of Medina TV, for his countless hours in making these presentations possible. So, without further ado, let's get started. Our first honoree from the class of 2021 is Matt Amodio. A 2009 graduate of Medina High School, he is recognized in the category of academic, career, and life achievements. Matt graduated as valedictorian of his class and had a successful academic career. He most recently became a part of game show history as one of the most significant winners of the national game show Jeopardy! Let's learn more about Matt.
Good evening. Tonight we recognize Matt Amodio in the category of academic, career, and life accomplishments. Matt graduated from Medina High School as class valedictorian in 2009. After graduation, Matt attended The Ohio State University and graduated from the Department of Mathematics in 2012 with a Bachelor of Science with honors in actuarial science while earning a master's degree in statistics. He continued his education by attending the University of Wisconsin, earning a Master of Science in Artificial Intelligence in 2015. He received his doctorate in computer science from Yale. After receiving his degrees from the Ohio State University, he worked for National Security Agency contractor Booz Allen Hamilton from January 2014 to July 2015, designing and programming algorithms for machine learning applications, constructed interpretable network graph models for massive social media data, and researching algorithm models and frameworks for graph analysis of IP networks. Matt is possibly most known as the third largest earner of all time in regular season play, the third most successful consecutive games won, and fourth biggest all-time winner, averaging over $39,000 per victory on the network television game show Jeopardy! His interest was sparked in his senior year when he participated in Academic Challenge on WEWS in 2009, where his team finished in second place.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Simon Spelling, and I had the good fortune of having Mr. Amodio in my AP Government class when he was a student here at Medina High School. And I'd like to offer my congratulations to Matt for his accomplishments thus far in his life, and you did it. Anytime you get nominated into a Hall of Fame, you must have done something right. To announce that you have accomplished the difficult, the unusual, and the daring is the mark of someone who has courage, composure, and confidence. During my years of teaching at AP Government at Medina, I had many humble students, for they had a lot to be humble about, but not Matt Amodio. Under the shroud of humility lay the calm, confident, composed student that smiled at most of my jokes and tolerated politely the fact that he was being taught by somebody who came from another country and thought the founding fathers were more traitors and terrorists than they were grandfathers of a new constitution. Teachers always like to think that they played a major part in the accomplishments of their students, but I sometimes feel that despite the person at the front of the class, the students were able to excel at whatever endeavors they decide upon. There is no doubt that you accomplished all of this on your own, with hard work, an inquisitive nature, and a noble sense of humility. Despite the obvious talent, insight, and gifts that you had, you were always one that listened and respected the opinions of others. There could be no greater gift than the gift of listening and learning from other people. It is these traits that we are here celebrating today, along with a quick buzzer finger. I am sure that you are now, as a national celebrity and inducted into the Medina High School Hall of Fame, you have become used to all the attention and accolades coming your way. No longer can you hide your light under a bushel. People know who you are and what you are capable of. So no longer is your father or anyone else going to have to push you to apply for TV shows or to job interviews. You are now a man amongst boys. But remember that as you try and change the world, don't forget that every now and again, you also have to do the dishes. Congratulations, Matt. You're always one of the good ones. Congratulations.
Unfortunately, Matt could not be with us this evening, but he did want to share a few words with us.
Hi, Matt here. Thank you so much for this tremendous honor. I am so proud of Medina City Schools. To know that Medina is also proud of me is a tremendous feeling. I never miss an opportunity to tell people about how great my educational upbringing was, how much I enjoyed it, and what a great environment Medina is. I can sincerely say that without it, I would not be where I am today. I could not have accomplished all that I have accomplished, so thank you. I regret that I can't be there in person today, but I appreciate the opportunity to send this message along remotely. To all of my teachers, all of the support staff, and everybody I came into contact with from the beginning all the way to the end, thank you so much. I was pushed when I needed to be pushed, I was supported when I needed to be supported, and it all made me the person I am today. I got to know several of my teachers so well, I don't think they were just educators, they were also friends for me. And I never take for granted how special of a feeling that is. That is truly tremendous. Thank you all so very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Next up, Mallory Mahar, a 2022 Medina High School graduate. Mallory is honored in the category of Cultural Performing Arts for her award-winning work in visual effects and animation. Let's hear more about Mallory and her accomplishments.
Good evening. Tonight we recognize Mallory Mahar in the category of Cultural and Performing Arts. Mallory, class of 2002, is honored for her accomplishments in the world of visual effects and animation. She has worked for Sony Pictures Imageworks since 2016 and has been a senior lighting and compositing artist for numerous animated feature films and has recently become a lead. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in 2018 made her an Academy Award, Golden Globe, and British Academy Film Award winner. Other film credits include Godzilla, Sausage Party, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, Angry Birds 2, Smallfoot, Vivo, the Hotel Transylvania franchise, and The Sea Beast. Mallory received her Bachelor of Arts in Studio Art in 2007 from the University of Maryland. In 2011, she earned a double Master of Arts in Visual Effects and Animation from the prestigious Savannah College of Art and Design. After graduating, she headed to California to apprentice with Rhythm and Hues before moving to Vancouver, British Columbia. She's been living in British Columbia for 10 years and has become a Canadian citizen, working at various studios on many films before landing at Sony for the past 6 years. Most Medinians, however, will remember Mallory for her soccer skills. She was a 4-letter winner, a 2-time All-Ohio, and was captain in 2001. After her successful high school career, Mallory was recruited to the University of Maryland. She had a successful career as a terrapin and earned many accolades during her time in College Park. During her senior year, she was honored to serve as captain. She finished her career with 18 goals, 14 assists, and 44 points. After graduation, she played professional soccer with the Washington Freedom before heading to Savannah.
When I first started working with Mallory, I was a bit intimidated by her. I was her supervisor, but she was the one who walked and talked with strength, coolness, and had a clever wit. She knew what she liked, what she didn't like, and what she wanted to do. I thought she was a great addition to the team, but didn't imagine she would want to be friends. I am not cool or particularly witty, but I quickly learned that in addition to all those things I listed, Mallory is also kind, compassionate, and generally curious about other people. So we talked. We became friends. I found out she's many things: an incredible athlete, a unique and talented artist, a good listener, caring and kind. When she left the studio we worked at, I wasn't sure I'd see or hear from her again. But what else did I learn Mallory is? Loyal and a good friend. Years later, we're still friends, and Mallory is still all of those things, and I'm still a bit intimidated sometimes. I'm incredibly grateful that I met her and get to call her a friend. I'm not entirely sure what this Hall of Fame induction means. Mallory, are you rich and famous now? If so, please message me so I can stay in the loop. Whatever it means, it sounds good, and if it's good, Mallory certainly deserves it. Congratulations, Mallory.
Obviously, I misspoke when I said she was a 2022 graduate because all of her accolades were before that, I think. So I'm guessing that's a 2002 Medina High School graduate. Unfortunately, Mallory could not join us this evening either. We would just like to congratulate her for all her accomplishments. And I promise we do have some inductees here tonight, okay? So our next inductee is Mark Miller, a 1978 high school graduate, is recognized in the category of academic, career, and life accomplishments. Mark has had a stellar career in the U.S. Navy, retiring in 2006 as a commander. His former colleagues have many accolades to share with us this evening.
Hi, this is Wayne Lloyd. I've known Mark Miller since we entered high school together in 1974. By chance of the alphabet, we landed in the same homeroom. We keep in touch these days via text with some of our other close friends from the class of 1978. Our text string began during the NFL draft on the night that the Cleveland Browns selected Johnny Manziel. Unlike the Browns' coaches and quarterbacks, the friendships we started back in 1974 in Medina continue today. Friendships forged in Medina tend to last a lifetime. Mark loves Northeast Ohio and Medina in particular. In fact, I believe if he could golf year-round here, he would consider moving back. I was asked to share some of my memories and thoughts about Mark upon his induction into the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, the commander called to tell me that I needed to tread lightly, as many of the stories from high school and our time together at Miami are still technically classified. So instead, let me just say how incredibly proud I am to count Mark as one of my oldest and dearest friends. It's no surprise to those of us that know Mark that he is honored here tonight. He chose a path to serve in the Navy, as I'm sure you'll hear more about tonight. For that, we are grateful. When I was thinking about what to say about Mark, I kept coming back to these thoughts. family, service, patriotism, community. He and Alona's sacrifices towards this service to our country deserve to be honored. A true hero, a naval aviator. Medina has produced some amazing people, and Mark is one of them. I know he doesn't think that he should be here tonight. I know this because I was telling him over a year ago that he had been selected, and he didn't believe it. Due to a change in his address, he never received the notification. So he was convinced that I was having a go at him. Well, Mark, believe it. Congratulations, you deserve it. Enjoy the night. Oh, and Mark, you know I love you, buddy, but you're going to have to putt that 4-footer.
Good evening. I'm Vice Admiral David Buss, a retired 3-star admiral from the United States Navy. It's a great privilege for me to be speaking for a few minutes this evening at the Medina City School System Hall of Fame induction ceremony, specifically on behalf of Mark Miller. First, to all the inductees, congratulations for this terrific recognition for your achievements across many fields over the years. Well done. I've known Mark for nearly 40 years. In fact, in 1983, young Ensign Mark Miller, as a brand newly minted aviator, showed up as a flight student in the Jet Training Squadron in Virginia Beach, where I was a flight instructor. It was my job to teach Mark the nuances of the aircraft that we were flying at the time. What I saw in Mark back then is what I saw in him throughout his 22-year Navy career, and that is selfless service, dedication to his nation and his Navy. I saw innate leadership skills, and I saw Mark as the ultimate team player who could get the job done. A few years after his initial training, it was I who was the flight student. Our roles were reversed as I came back, and Mark was one of my instructors after I'd been out of the cockpit for a few years. Mark had mastered his skills very well, and I could see that he was on his way to a brilliant Navy career. In the 1990s, I was fortunate enough to be the commanding officer of an aircraft carrier-based jet squadron, and I watched Mark lead the largest department that we had in our squadron, taking care of the troops and making sure that the job got done right each and every time. I also watched Mark in the air as he excelled in combat operations in both the Middle East and the Mediterranean. A few years after that, I recruited Mark and had him join our crew when I was stationed on board an aircraft carrier as the executive officer. Again, I gave Mark the most difficult assignment there was on the ship, and he performed brilliantly while taking great care of the troops and their families. And I was fortunate enough to be at the end of Mark's career in 2005 in uniform as he, again, was in command himself, leading our troops and our young aviators as they were preparing for exactly the situation and exactly the role that Mark had had some 22 years earlier. So in Mark Miller, we have the consummate leader, we have a patriot, and a great representative, I know, of the Medina City school system. So Mark, to you, Alona, and family, congratulations. And specifically, I know you, Mark, represent the city of Medina extraordinarily well. I'm extremely proud of you. From each and every one of us that have worn the uniform with you, we all take great pride in this evening and your recognition. Congratulations, my friend.
Boy, it's hard to believe, but Mark and I go back, I believe almost 52 years. We were in grade school together at St. Francis. Many fond memories there, and developed a lot of friendships that still are in place today. Went on to high school. We were fortunate enough to be part of a large group of friends, and many of them are here tonight to honor Mark. And just had a lot of fun. We lived on the fringe at times, and from egg fights with the juniors to bottle rockets off a certain person's roof's house, to the weekend summer nights down in a friend's family's farm, and just a lot of great memories. Mark went off to college down at Miami University. I stayed here local, but had the opportunity, made a few road trips down there to see Mark and some other friends that were at school there. And maybe drifted a little bit, but upon Mark's graduation, he went into the Navy, and we kind of reconnected and became close again. And I had the opportunity to go down and visit Mark at Norfolk a couple times, take a tour of the base, and just in awe, a little envious, what young man's dream of flying jets off an aircraft carrier, but I was very proud of what Mark had done. And again, just stayed in touch through his career and watched him grow, and really some of the accomplishments from, not only flying, but eventually being on the admiral's staff and living in Japan and, just traveling the world. You really admired what Mark had done. So probably one of my coolest memories with Mark is I had the opportunity, along with another good friend of mine, Jim, to take a day cruise on an aircraft carrier, the USS Nimitz. And we met it down in Norfolk, and we went out in the Atlantic Ocean, 60 or 100 miles, and watch them launch planes and, go through their day-to-day activities on a ship. And I tell you, you become to appreciate the work and just what it takes for all the men and women that are in the service. And, watching what Mark had accomplished with the rank of commander, and, a little corny, but I was proud of Mark, proud to be a friend of his. So wish Mark well. Another stage in his life. Ken, staying connected with Mark, I have an opportunity to go down as member guest down in Florida, and now Mark's working on his golf game and low single-digit handicap. But again, what a wonderful guy. Very proud of him. Proud to say I'm a friend.
Mark, would you come up to accept your award, please?
I had to write some stuff down so I didn't forget a few things. I had Vice Admiral Buss, who talked there. He told me early on about public speaking, keep to the 3 B's. Be brief, be funny, and be gone. So the brief and the be gone part I'll take care of. The funny part is that the word academics is mentioned in the category that I'm up here for. That was a little bit of a surprise to me, quite frankly. I'd like to thank everybody very much. When notified, and quite frankly, due to no fault of anyone's, I didn't find out about this until about 2 months ago, and I was very surprised, number one, but also humbled and honored to be included in this group. Special thanks to the Hall of Fame Committee, Medina City Schools Foundation, the High School Student Council, and everyone else who had a hand in putting this event together tonight. Also to Jeannie Pritchard, Ken Stump, Amy Busby, Deborah Blasick, and my friend and classmate over there, Scott Tuchek. Thank you all. I'd like to recognize my family who's here, my mom, who just turned 90 this week, my brother Eric over there. Unfortunately, my sister Nancy and her husband couldn't make it up from Columbus, and I'd also like to give a shout out to my 2 sons, Stephen and Eric, who live in Birmingham, Alabama, and couldn't make it tonight. Also, some dear lifelong friends, a couple you heard from Medina, Amy and Wayne Lloyd, Joe Belinovich, Jim Behrensfield. Appreciate you guys being here tonight. Also, Mark Casper, who came up from Atlanta, and Bill Wagner, who drove down today from Detroit. Also, a couple gals I'd like to mention over there, Terry Klimko and Cheryl Bell. The 2 of you, along with Kim, who I'll get to me epitomize the spirit and the pride of Medina. So it's great being friends with you guys. Also want to thank and congratulate all of tonight's inductees and current Hall of Fame members, including those from my class from 1978, my friends Kim Albert, Mitch Lehman, and the late Ben Halleck. Those of you who knew Ben, I met Ben first period freshman year, first class, sat next to him in George Patus's algebra class. We became friends, eventually college roommates along with Mark Casper down at Miami. And then Ben and I were fraternity brothers for several years down there. I got a chance to talk to Debbie Halleck here tonight. It was great seeing you, and a lot of good memories there. Okay, kind of ironic. second period class freshman year. I go, and who do I sit next to but Ken Albert? Where's Ken's over here? Who's going to be up here shortly. Ken, it was great reconnecting with you and with the folks from 1977 who are here tonight. Finally, since I was a kid, I had a lifelong interest in aviation and the space program, and other than marrying Alona, my wife, the best decision I ever made was going into the Navy. Frankly, coming out of college, I needed a little bit of direction and discipline, quite frankly. So Navy gave me that and all. It also got me out of the house, which I'm sure my mom was very happy about as well. Vice Admiral Buss talked about my Navy time, so I'm not going to belabor that. But I would like to say, if you remember what makes all of our services what they are, it's not the hardware, it's not the airplanes, the tanks, the bullets, the ships, that kind of stuff, but it's the people, and it's what they serve for. And I was pleased and honored to get to serve with many dedicated young men and women during my time in the service that came from communities like Medina and many others. My wife and I got to live all over the world and travel all over the world, but I always said Medina was home, and I'm very proud to say Medina is home. So thank you all very much.
Congratulations, Mark. Next up, Alan Parkhurst. Alan is a member of the class of 1972 and is recognized in the category of Cultural Performing Arts for his masterful floral designs. He spent a lifetime sharing his creativity and love of flowers. Some of his friends had these comments to share about Alan.
Hi, I'm the Reverend Dr. Luke Linden here at Medina United Church of Christ Congregational, where Alan Parkhurst has been a member for over 50 years. Alan's biggest memory from growing up is the youth group mission trip all the way out to the Wind River Indian Reservation in Wyoming, and this was just formative for him. That's where he gained that servant's heart. As they traveled out to Wyoming from Medina, they would stay in local churches, and they would have to sing for their dinner or some way to mix with the host congregation. And he saw like various denominations support perfect strangers, feed perfect strangers. They didn't necessarily have to sing, but it's a nice way to say thank you. And they got out to Wyoming to the Wind River Indian Reservation, and there they worked for the Wyoming Training School for the Mentally Ill. And I think that formative experience has knit in Alan that servant's heart, that need for community. I think the fruits of the Spirit first blossomed for Alan because as a 50-year member here, as a generous benefactor here at the church, both in time and talent, as well as treasure, Alan is part of our property and grounds and keeps this place gorgeous. Keeps the bricks from falling out of the wall. It's not the most fun work sometimes as we're talking about HVAC systems, but Alan shows up with the fruits of the Spirit of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against these things, there are no such laws. And Alan, if there were, we would have to lock him up a long time ago. So as his pastor, as being cheer-led, as being, encouraged on daily by Alan, he always has something great and witty to say. So good on us for getting this guy into our Hall of Fame, because he is a Hall of Famer, just an amazing soul who I am privileged to know. So thank you. Congratulations, Alan, and God bless everyone. Take care. Be well.
The floral industry is a very close-knit community of floral designers, shop owners, wholesale houses, growers, and product importers worldwide. The major accreditation for the industry is to achieve the status of AIFD, the American Institute of Floral Designers. Alan has been a lifelong member for as long as I have known him. Alan and I met at an AIFD Industry Annual Symposium over 40 years ago. We connected over our love and passion for the industry, educational opportunities, mentoring, and support of the industry's community. His great sense of humor, positive approach to life, caring for dear friends, and his love for Bruce, the Wonder Dog, has made me appreciate who and what he is even more than all of these many years. Alan is a true gentleman's gentleman. Alan and I have served AIFD on several committees and with a focus reaching out to new inductees to mentor, to support, educate, and encourage their professionalism and creativity. The industry is better because of Alan Parkhurst. Your friendship and the close bond we have established means the world to me. You have lifted my spirits. He really is a funny guy, and we can talk about anything at great length. He is also a very interesting character. Congratulations, dear friend. You so deserve this honor. Susan and I love you, and a big hug and best wishes to you on this very special day.
Hi, I'm Kathy Lamancusa, and I'm here to honor Alan Parkhurst. Alan was a respected name in the floral industry for years. I had admired his work and reputation for a long time. So one would think I would be thrilled to hear from him when he called me one day. Rather than being excited and welcoming, I was rude instead. The reason was I had applied for a specific designation in the floral industry, but I had not been chosen, and I was upset. But with Alan's caring and compassionate heart, he was not offended. Rather, he said he understood how hurt I was and was calling to offer his assistance on what I could do to prepare to earn the designation. This started our long and very precious friendship. I continued to learn from Alan as he hit the stage, traveling the U.S. and Canada, presenting over 350 educational design shows. As he continued to enhance his style as a graduate of master's programs in Lycée Holland and Baden, Austria, as well as the Rulota School of Floral Design in Phoenix, Arizona, I benefited by learning from him. His designs were featured everywhere I looked, from on stage to in print, with his role as a Smithers Oasis ambassador, a Telefloral unit president, and a member of the American Floral Services education team, and a contributing artist designer for over a decade with the prestigious Professional Floral Designer magazine. And to top it off, he was one of only 9 florists who were in charge of President Reagan's inauguration. When Simon & Schuster published my books, Flowers Are Forever and Flowers Are for Love, dedicated to sharing how flowers impact our lives, Alan's stories rose to the top of the pile and were some of the most loved in the books. His story, Grandpa's Prom Flowers, shared a heartwarming tale of how a mistake in billing was the best day in a grandfather's life, since he was able to pay for his granddaughter's prom flowers. His story, The Legacy of the Wedding Corsage, shared that the only flowers his mother had at her wedding was a yellow rose corsage, because someone had stolen his parents' wedding money from his father's government-issued trunk. Alan was also a guest on my PBS television series, At Home with Flowers, and thrilled the audience with his charm and expertise. In addition, Alan has appeared in Good Morning Youngstown and the famed former Cleveland morning show, the morning exchange. What a fabulous treasure we have here in Medina, with a man who has decorated for presidents, traveled the world, taught thousands, and shared his loving and compassionate heart with everyone he meets. We are so very lucky to call Alan our hometown boy.
Alan, would you like to come up and accept your induction and award?
Wow. I'd really like to humbly thank the committee for this honor and to Jean Pritchard for seeing the article about my career that was in the local paper and suggesting me. I'd like to also like to thank my parents, our customers, and my employees, because the employees maintained the quality, the fresh standards, and style while I was away from the store achieving all these things you're honoring me for. Obviously, without them, I would not have been able to do any of these great projects. I'm honored today to have Kathy and Sherry with me at my table. One of the stories, thank you. One of the stories I wrote in the book, All About Flowers, a kind of chicken soup for the soul book about flowers, told about a classmate of mine, Mark Wood, who died very young in a mountain climbing accident. His mother came to me with an idea. The gardens in Medina were full and lush that season, and all the neighbors wanted to do something. Would I use those flowers for Mark's casket spray? All over Medina, people came with buckets of freshly cut flowers from their gardens to the shop. I processed and hardened off the blossoms, refrigerating them overnight. The result is the spray that you see on the screen. At the last minute, Mrs. Wood came to me with 3 monarch butterflies. She said the last time she and Mark had gone on a bike ride together, they had found them dead at the side of the road. I carefully glued them on thin wire, and they hover over the flowers in the spray. This is the kind of Medina story that tells you that we are so much more than just a pretty square. Thank you.
Congratulations, Alan. Our final inductee from the class of 2021 is Brian Stadnick. Brian graduated in the class of 1983 and is recognized for his notable athletic accomplishments. As an athlete, he enjoyed holding several records in basketball, both in high school and at the collegiate level. Let's hear from some of those closest to Brian.
Good evening. My name is Michael Jones, and I am honored to be presenting Brian for induction into the Medina City Schools Hall of Fame. It's very commendable that your school system has established a Hall of Fame to recognize the past accomplishments and legacies of your former student athletes. I had the pleasure to play basketball alongside Brian from 1983 to 1987 at Allegheny College in Meadville, Pennsylvania. I remember the first time I met Brian. It was in the David Mead Fieldhouse, the gymnasium where we played our home games. My mom had dropped me off on campus and had to immediately return home to DC to get back to teaching. I listened to the president of the college's welcome speech and immediately found the gym. I can't remember who got to the gym first, me or Brian, but I know we were inseparable after that. That's the power of sports. It's the equalizer with no hidden agenda. Can you compete? Can you stop me one-on-one? I don't know how long we shot around, but it was for a long time. We knew we were going to be teammates, but we became much more than that. Simply put, Brian, along with Eric Sleepy Floyd, for those of you who are familiar with the great Georgetown player from the 80s, were the two best shooters that I ever had the pleasure to share the court with. I think the Lord truly meant for the two of us to come into each other's lives. As Jalen Rose said in the Fab Five documentary, other than his blood brothers, the other four Fab Five teammates were the closest to brothers that he had ever had. That's how I felt about Brian. Additionally, his mom and dad were like family to me. Every Thanksgiving when it was time to go home for break, I'd call my mom in DC and ask her to send me some money for the Greyhound bus ride home. She'd say, "You better call the Stadnicks and see if you can go there for Thanksgiving. No bus fare for you." They were more than welcoming. I remember when we first met, Brian and I exchanged stories about our high school careers. We both lost in the state semifinals. His career truly sounded like the original Hoosiers, since that movie came out a year before we graduated. I truly wanted to win a national championship and thought we could. In hindsight, he and I thought no doubt we could have if we had been able to persuade his high school running mate, Jay Peters, to come join us. There were many memorable moments we had together. We had to push a big boulder in front of a lot of them and never let them see the light of day. But from a basketball standpoint, a couple stand out for me. Obviously, there was the night Brian reached the 1,000-point scoring milestone and the night he broke the all-time scoring record. But for me, the two nights that stand out were the night he dropped 41 on Oberlin at Oberlin. I was leading us in scoring at the half with 12 points, and I think Brian may have had 8. In the second half, I didn't even take a shot because Brian went off for about 30. The Oberlin players needed a roadmap to find him. That was his highest point total during his 4 years at Allegheny. The other memorable moment for me was us playing Ohio Wesleyan for the conference tournament championship in an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. That's all you can wish for at any level during your college career. We were down like 15 with 7 minutes left in that game. We put it into overtime and eventually won. Brian had a fabulous game. The bus ride home from Delaware, Ohio to Meadville was the best one that I had ever been on. To understand how good that Ohio Wesleyan team was, they ended up winning the Division III National Championship the next year. In closing, what Brian and I learned from each other and about each other was better than any individual course that he or I could have taken at Allegheny. I hear that there is another future Hall of Famer getting ready to matriculate at Penn State. Hopefully he knows about or will learn about what Brian accomplished when he played.
My name is Jay Peters, speaking tonight on behalf of Hall of Fame inductee Mr. Brian Daniel Stadnick. I'll start off with a disclaimer. Brian and I have been friends since grade school, and as years have passed, our friendship has grown exponentially. He's like a brother to me, so understand that I'm a little bit more than biased when I talk about him tonight. I could talk about him as a player and a friend for days, but I've only got 3 minutes, so I'll do my best. When we were 7, we played on our first baseball team together in the underhand pitch league that used to play at the Medina Fairgrounds. I remember being amazed at this long-haired kid who actually knew what he was doing. The rest of us were clueless and could barely pull up our zippers, but Brian knew how to play. I swear he hit a home run every time he went to bat. He knew where to throw the ball, where to run. But I was to learn later that was Brian and everything he did. It was about 4th grade when our friendship really started. We both lived close to St. Francis School, and we would periodically meet there and play basketball together. Sometimes it was one-on-one, sometimes others like the Turk brothers would show up and we could play in a game. And other times, like lots of young boys, the two of us would play our imaginary 5-on-5 games where we were winning state championships together or playing for the Cavs and then interviewing each other like we were Joe Tate on the radio. We were both extremely competitive and wanted nothing more than to win every single game we played against each other. And to be honest, that led to moments of tension in our friendship. We both hated to lose, but someone had to lose, and we fought hard to beat each other. The fact is, Brian was good at everything he did. He was an intelligent, savvy athlete with great hand-eye coordination, and he was always unbelievably clutch in pressure situations. Our shared fire and competitiveness drove us, both of us, as we grew into junior high and then into high school. Our class of 1983 struggled through growing pains, but finally peaked our senior year. Brian Stadnick became a star as the 83 Bees fought their way to the last state Final Four in Boise County history. His performance throughout the tournament is legendary, as he averaged 23 points per game, including a then-county record 40 points against Parma Senior without the three-point line. With the three-point line, he probably would have had 50. His jump shot, usually from long distances, was a thing of beauty and perfection with his soft touch and quick release. What I admired most in my friend was his overflowing confidence, and our team fed off of that confidence. While other people our age were doing whatever they did, and we still don't really know what others were doing because Brian and I spent our time playing hoops together, guarding each other in the summer at Regan Park. We spent hours in his driveway competing in shooting games that he always won, and then playing together in Pro-Am Summer League after we were in college. We spent hours driving, talking crap, blasting Bruce Springsteen, playing and competing as teammates and foes on various courts, and we shared a lot of life together in the process. That's continued through to the present as we remain the closest of friends. My mom, who used to make Brian and I our pregame meal of toasted cheese and tomato soup, told me you're lucky to have 5 true friends in your lifetime. Brian is certainly one of mine, and that's why it's a great honor for me tonight to assist in inducting my lifelong brother and friend, my favorite teammate of all time, dating back to our days at St. Francis and Medina High School and beyond. Congratulations, my brother, my friend and teammate, on your well-deserved recognition, and I'm not ashamed to say I love you, my brother.
Brian, come on down.
After listening to all those folks before me go, I feel a little insignificant. All I did was put a ball in a basket, for crying out loud. I'd like to start by thanking my fellow inductees, congratulating my fellow inductees for tonight from the class of 21 and 22, and some of the past honorees that are here tonight. I'd also like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this wonderful and humbling honor. I'd like to give a special shout out to my friend Doug Dukes, whose efforts made this induction possible for me tonight. Thank you so much, Douglas. As you've heard, I was blessed to be a member of the 1983 Medina Bees, the state qualifying basketball team. Without that team, I'm not standing here today. This honor would not have been possible. I'd like to thank my high school coach, Alan Darner, who passed away, for all the times he yelled at me and my teammates in an effort to make us better players and teammates. I wouldn't be here tonight without his help and his gentle encouragement during my time at Medina High School. I'd also like to thank my 8th and 9th grade coaches, Mike Polini and George Bauman, for telling me and my fellow teammate and Hall of Famer Jay Peters that neither one of us would amount to anything in the game of basketball. I guess Jay and I were just too damn stupid to listen to them. Obviously, Nostradamus as they were not. And thank you to my college coach, John Reinders, for 4 great years at Allegheny College and the success we had together. I was blessed to grow up in Medina at the time that I did. I learned my craft at the Mecca of Medina basketball, Regan Park. Many of my Regan Park alumni are here tonight. I would not have become the player I did, honestly, without their ass whoopings I took as a freshman and sophomore from guys like Schaaf, Mitch, Brenner, Belinovich, Dukes, Carson, the Turek brothers, and Sam, just to name a few. They are my brothers forever, and I owe them so much and share this honor with them. Without them and all the Regan Irregulars who helped sharpen my skills and elbows. If you were here tonight, the Regan Irregulars, let's get a stand up quick, because I just want to see everybody. These are the guys that helped me become the player I am and help me with this honor. Thank you all. You guys are my brothers. I love you all. I'd especially like to thank the members of the best team Medina has ever had. Obviously, I'm a little biased, the 1983 Bees. Richie Doyle, Pete is here, Fred, Joe, Dave, Russ, and the Green Teamers. What a hell of a ride it was, guys. And I loved every moment of it. It's something I'll never forget. I've had some great teammates in my past through the years, but 2, damn, I'm not going to get through this. The 2 rise above others, and they are both here tonight. First of all, my great friend, Michael Jones. Mike, stand up. All right. Is Mike, I didn't know Mike was going to do that, but he's true. The first day at Allegheny College, I didn't know anybody. So I did what I always did. I went to the gym, and I went to shoot. Anybody who knows me knows I like to shoot the ball. Well, I see this guy in the gym shooting with this sweet lefty jumper, so I saunter over to him and we're talking, and we haven't stopped talking since. Mike, thank you for traveling to DC today to be here with me tonight. For being my friend, my partner in crime, a great teammate, and most importantly, for being a better person who showed me how right Dr. King was when he said to judge a man by the content of his character, not the color of his skin. Thank you, my brother. Is it too late to get that wave cap back that I loaned you senior year of college? Just remember that. I'd also like to thank my favorite teammate of all time, my best friend. No surprise to those who know me, that's Jay Peters. Jay and his beautiful wife, Dawn, are here tonight. Let's get up. Both of you. Thank you. Jay and I have been friends for over 50 years, and he's like a brother to me. I could spend an entire night talking about Jay and what his friendship has meant to me and all the fun times we had these last 50 years plus. But I'm only allowed 3 minutes tonight, so let me just say this. I can't thank you enough for all you've done for me and for my life, and for all your love and support, and I hope I made you proud. I can't think of anyone else I would have wanted to go through that experience of 1983 with other than you. I love you, Pete. Let's run play 766 one more time. I'd like to thank my family. Without them, none of this is possible. My mom, Michelle, who couldn't be here tonight, is the heart and foundation of my family. My father, Dan, who's here, who I inherited my athletic ability from, and my brother, Snake, who honestly might be the most gifted athlete in our family, because he has more varsity letters than my dad and I did at Medina. I'd also like to thank my 3 beautiful daughters, Jordan, Taylor, and Bailey, for all the love and support they've provided to me throughout these years, and for putting up with my nonstop stories about how great I used to be. You make me proud to be your dad. Lastly, I'd like to recognize my 2 heroes growing up. These 2 amazing men are inextricably intertwined together. Say one name and the other follows. Jim and Dan, Wellesley and Baggs. My father and Jim Wells, Medina High School teacher, coach, Hall of Famer, an original badass Medina man, whose wife Debbie is here tonight, are part of my family. Deb, wherever you are, I know you're around here somewhere. There you are, sweetie. My dad and Jimmy were friends for almost 80 years. Just think about that, 80 years. The reason that this award tonight means so much to me is that the names Stadnick and Wells will forever, as of today, be linked in Medina High School lore. I can't think of a better way to honor these 2 great young men who had a profound impact on my life. Thank you, Dad. And thank you, Jim, for being 2 wonderful role models. Lastly, I'd like to thank my hometown, Medina, for giving me such a wonderful childhood filled with many amazing memories. I'll always be a Bee, and I'll always be a Buckeye. OH. Thanks to everyone for coming tonight to support me. It means more than I can truly speak to. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Brian. We're now going to move on to the inductees for the class of 2022. Our first inductee in this class is Ken Alber. He is recognized in the category of academic, career, and life accomplishments. Ken was a 1977 graduate of Medina High School with an impressive athlete during his high school years. He has gone on to become a successful general contractor and business partner in the gaming and hospitality industry, as well as a philanthropist, giving back to the community in which he lives. Some of those closest to Ken have the following words to share.
Hello, everyone. My name is Heather Engel, and I'm the CEO of the Las Vegas Rescue Mission. I have to say that I'm so deeply honored that I was asked to say a few things about my experience with Ken Albert. I began developing a capital campaign here for the Las Vegas Rescue Mission about 4 years ago, and putting the community vibes out there to see who might be interested in helping. And through some shared contacts, I was introduced to Ken. We created a meeting, and he came up to see me here in the boardroom, and I have to say that I take great pride in reading people. I have to do it for raising money, for working in politics, or for just assessing situations that happen here at the mission. However, when Ken came to sit down at my board meeting table, I could not read him, and it absolutely unnerved me, because I usually can figure out which direction to go based on how I read the situation. So I decided I would just open up with everything, all the information, which I opened up with my personal story of being in long-term recovery from drugs and alcohol. And that's what brought me to the career that I have now. And I went on to discuss everything about the capital campaign, the hows and whys of it, the stories about what we do here and the amazing people that we get to serve every day. And, I finished, and he didn't really move anything. And then he sat up and he smiled at me and he says, "Congratulations on your sobriety," which meant a lot to me. And then he slid an envelope across the desk for $100,000. Now, I haven't met Ken before, and I know that people had discussed with him what was going on with the mission and who I am and what I've done in the past. I know that those conversations happened. And I want to tell you that in my whole career of 15 years in this particular realm, that has never happened to me. And it will probably never happen again. We began planning the campaign using his company Penta to do the construction. And of course they hit it hard in the community for us. And then COVID happened. And everything stopped, as you know. And here, what that meant is that we ended up packing the house and having 320 people live here in solitary with us downtown in Las Vegas, which presented its own interesting issues that we had to work through. That also meant that Penta's projects had stopped too. That meant that Penta's men had to stop too. So a couple weeks, probably a couple months into COVID, Ken reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to rehab the Shelter of Hope?" And I'm thinking, well, of course I do, because it was literally in disrepair. It was terrible, and it's where our women and children reside. And he said, "Okay, let's do it." And I'm like, "Okay, what does that look like?" And so I had some money that I'd raised, and then he was able to reach out to his supervisors, and he employed and put supervisors on site here during the pandemic. And then there was a lot of people that are his subcontractors whose families were hanging in the balance, donated their time and their product to create this incredible environment that we call the Shelter of Hope. He turned something that was completely dilapidated, yet still housing incredible people, to something full of dignity and pride that we all just are still stunned to walk into. And he did that in the middle of COVID. There are many things that I can say that Ken has brought to my life. We become very good friends. I love his wife, Michelle, very much. He has no problem picking up the phone to call a county commissioner for me to discuss some funding issues that were going on. And the list goes on. And he picks up anytime I am calling. He texts me back anytime I'm texting him. And I try not to overstay my welcome there, but he's 100% present when I need it. In the end, I just want to say that Ken and Michelle care without condition, and they give without judgment. My story of recovery became a public one early on, not one that I choose to make public, but in a way I'm really glad it did. That being said, there's things you could find out about me very easily. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Either way, he came to me without reservation. He came to me without judgment. And not only that, he supports the men and women going through our recovery program here, the men and women and families that are going through really hard times in our shelters. He interacts with everybody with such grace and kindness to everybody. God truly shines through him, and I am beyond grateful that he has chosen to shine upon us.
Good evening, everyone, and good evening to all of our fellow inductees. My name is Kim Albert, and I'm Ken Albert's little sister by just 15 months. Due to our closeness in age, we ended up being somewhat like twins throughout our youth and even into our adulthood today. With that said, I always had an up-close and personal view of Ken's ambitions, his passions, his dreams, and his relentless pursuit of perfection in everything he attempted and everything he continues to pursue. With a little story from back in the day, when Ken was 11 years old and we lived on our dairy farm on Remsen Road, he decided to take up playing an electric guitar. That was his dream. However, he had no funds to buy one, so he decided to take his first leap into self-employment. He started a sweet corn stand at the end of our driveway and put his two sisters to work. That would be me and our older sister Karen, or his child laborers. We started picking the corn and hauling the corn to the stand, where Ken sold the corn for $1 a dozen. Well, our grandfather got wind of this, and he decided Ken was embarrassing the Albert family name by overcharging our neighbors, friends, and even strangers from afar. Ken did the right thing. He immediately dropped his price to 75 cents per dozen. This made him recalculate his margin. So he told his childhood laborers, myself and Karen, that we needed to pick more ears of corn every hour and every day. Well, we did it. We're not sure why we did it, but we did it. Needless to say, Ken purchased his electric guitar and began playing Glenn Campbell music over and over. If anything, Karen and I can name every Glenn Campbell song with just one note. Thanks, Ken. At this point, something shifted in Ken, and he knew his long-term pursuit was to own his own business. It only took him 29 years, from the age of 11 to the age of 40, to become one of the founders and principals at Penta Building Group, located in Las Vegas, Nevada. During those 29 years, Ken honed his civil engineering talents and added an MBA to his resume. He was equally relentless about achieving his dreams, like playing the guitar. However, it would come in the form of long-distance biking and flying airplanes. Today, he would say it was one of his relentless pursuits to bike the Swiss Alps and own an airplane. He's now on his 5th airplane, and it's an epic turboprop. Ken finds himself at the age of retiring, and now retired. He's trying to perfect the art of grandparenting with his wife, Michelle. Somehow, I think 3, soon to be 4 granddaughters will tug at his heart over and over, and we'll soon see one of them following Grandpa's footsteps. Congratulations, big brother, on being inducted into our high school Hall of Fame. I love you.
Ken, please come down and accept your induction and award.
Wow, that made me sound better than I think I am, but thanks everybody that participated in that. I had 3 minutes. I'll try to keep it under 4, I think. But, you know, like a high-rise building, one's life is built upon a solid foundation. My foundation was built here in my hometown of Medina. It was built by my ancestors who labored on dairy farms nearby, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. It was built upon other ancestors that toiled in the hot rubber factories in Akron. It was these ancestors who sacrificed a lot to give us, the next generation and future generations, better opportunities in life. My foundation was built by a supportive family with Christ-centered values to provide me a stabilizing rudder, an aviation term, to navigate through my life, and gave me great encouragement to soar to my goals. My parents worked hard throughout life to provide us a great opportunity here in Medina to raise us. It was an ideal life. Memories of my life here in Medina in the 1960s and 1970s are unforgettable. My sister Kim, as you heard her earlier, and a former Hall of Famer, she got the athletic talents in the family. I always lived in her shadow, unfortunately, with my athletic career. But yeah, we had a fantastic family life here, and this can't be beat. And my memories here in Medina. My foundation was built by teachers at Medina High School that awakened my mind and instilled in me a passion and thirst for knowledge. It was my Medina High School teachers that taught me that hard work, you had to work hard to acquire knowledge, and your success was directly proportional to the effort that you put forth. I also had an aviation class my senior year in high school, something I didn't realize at the time I shared a passion about with Mark Miller. But I also got to ride my first small airplane at Freedom Field that year in 1977, which sparked my passion and enthusiasm for aviation throughout my life. My foundation was built by Medina football and baseball coaches, including Jim Wells. I heard his name mentioned here several times tonight. Also Tom George, who passed away last year as well, and John Hoover, which still lives in Medina. But these men inspired me. They pushed me physically beyond what I thought I was capable of. They instilled discipline, taught me leadership skills, and most importantly, because we lost more games than we won, thanks to a lot of my receivers that are in the crowd today. But it taught me about adversity, how to get back up and get back in the game, and to never to give up, regardless of the odds, and to continue to pursue your goals. It was these traits that allowed me to ascend, literally and figuratively, mountains in my life. My foundation was built upon lifelong friendships developed in my youth, many of them over 50 years ago. Many of them here tonight. Many of them have traveled throughout the country to come support me tonight. I greatly appreciate your effort to get here tonight. But now they're a bunch of old friends. But yeah, they've been along my side on and off throughout my lifetime. They were around for encouragement and also a gentle nudge occasionally when I drifted off track. They were always there to get me back on course. You know, at the end of the day, it's not about the buildings you build or physical things you acquire. It's about the love and friendship of family and friends that really endure to the end. And I appreciate all of you for being here tonight. Although not acquired during my foundational years, I would have never been able to accomplish things I have in my life without my wife, Michelle, my co-pilot in life. I met her over 36 years ago when our paths crossed in Phoenix. She really is the rock and foundation of my life. Together we have built a family of 4 kids, and our 4th granddaughter is on the way. This is truly the pinnacle of my life. We love flying our plane across country, mostly in the summer. I didn't come in the plane this time due to the fantastic weather here, but we come annually every summer in a plane across this great country, a great opportunity. And we land at Freedom Field. My life has come 360. It's been really cool to fly back into Medina and land at Freedom Field after all these years. There's something very special here about Medina, something that'll be forever etched in my life. And you that still live here, something very, very proud of, and I'm somewhat jealous that you still have a life here. If Michelle would move back here and my grandkids would move back here, I probably would too. But, it's just a great place filled with great memories. I'd like to thank Doug Dukes, Jeannie Pritchard, Scott Tuchek for recognizing my career accomplishments and inducting me into the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
He apparently didn't want the plaque. He's good. He's fine with the acknowledgement. Our next inductee is Anna Boyert Thorpe. This evening, Anna Boyert Thorpe is honored in the category of athletic accomplishments. A 2012 graduate of Medina High School, she is recognized for her talents as a three-sport athlete. Let's learn more about Anna.
Good evening. Tonight we recognize Anna Boyert Thorpe in the category of athletic accomplishments. Anna, class of 2012, is honored for her athletic accomplishments in 3 different sports, participating in track and cross country for 4 years and soccer for 2. In fact, she won state titles in 2 different sports. In cross country, she was a 4-time state qualifier. She was a 4-time all-county pick and a 2-time MVP in cross country. As a junior and senior, she finished 4th in the state and was All-Ohio. In addition, Anna spent 2 years participating in the soccer program. In 2009, Anna helped the women's soccer team capture the state championship. After taking the winter off, Anna came back in the spring to run track. She was a 4-time state qualifier and an 8-time All-Ohio pick. Anna's most memorable race would be her senior year, where she ran the anchor leg of the 4x800 and helped her team capture the state title. The top 4 team finished just 0.58 seconds apart, but Anna was able to edge out Dublin to capture the victory. Anna was also a 4-time all-county selection in track. After high school, Anna first attended Penn State, where she ran cross country, but was injured in an indoor meet. She transferred to Oklahoma State, where she earned all Big 12 honors in cross country and track on 5 occasions and was a 2-time All-American in indoor track. After graduating from Oklahoma State in 2017 with a degree in business marketing and management, she was offered a job coaching at Oklahoma State, but turned it down. After marriage, the job was offered again, and she accepted, where she coaches and recruits runners today.
Unfortunately, Anna couldn't be with us this evening, but I invite her parents to come up and accept the award on her behalf.
You know, I'm Anna's dad. And Brian, I'm going to be just like you, man, over there, because I don't know if I'm going to get through this. But anyways, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm not standing up here for Anna, but these are her words, and she would really like to express all her gratitude. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Anna Thorpe, formerly known as Anna Boyert. I am a 2012 graduate of Medina High School. As you probably tell, I couldn't be here today, so my father, Mike Boyert, is going to be delivering my speech for me. She also says, buckle down. He loves to talk, so I can't promise he won't add to this. Okay? I wish I could be there, but unfortunately, I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico, for the Indoor National Track and Field Championships. First, I would like to thank Medina City Schools for this incredible honor and congratulate all the 2021 and 2022 inductees. As most everyone here knows, Medina is a special place, and my time growing up here is something I am forever grateful for. I was fortunate to have an athletic department that helps support my dreams, coaches who encouraged me to be a kid and to try multiple sports, teammates who made my time special, and parents who sacrificed and cheered for me. And siblings who are always my biggest fans. When I reflect on the good old days, the first thing that comes to mind is community. Despite being a big school from elementary to high school, I had teachers and coaches who all played a role in who I am today. I currently coach at Oklahoma State University, and I often think of people I had in my corner cheering for me, encouraging me, and empowering me to be the best athlete I could be. Today, I tell my athletes, if I can get this apart here. Today, I tell my athletes, a happy runner is a good runner, and your happiness isn't determined by nice facilities or medals, but the people you surround yourself with. I truly believe you become who you're around, and Medina helped lay the groundwork for that. The athletic department slogan when I was at Medina was culture of champions. Champions aren't necessarily determined in how much you win or succeed, but in the attitude and effort you put into reaching your goals. There were a lot of successful teams and athletes during my time at Medina, and the culture and support of the athletic department created was contagious. I would have never been able to achieve the things I did if it wasn't for people like Taylor Burke, or the women's lacrosse team winning state year after year. The people you surround yourself with raise the bar for what is possibly, and soon you will find what is possible, and is soon to find yourself on the bandwagon of the championship mindset. The coaches were at the forefront of the winning culture. I was so incredibly lucky to have coaches like Coach Brewer, Van Fleet, and Corino. Each of them had a way of pushing their athletes, all while keeping it light and fun. I learned a lot as an athlete from Coach Brewer, but even more as a coach. He would come to practice every day with a smile on his face and was competitive, but always remembered us. It was just running, and we had to have fun. Even though Mill Place wasn't my coach, he was a big reason I got into running. Somehow, he knew I was going to be a runner when he saw me chasing a goat on the farm at 9 years old. He was a big part of the running community in Medina. He coached all my brothers, and he knew every person's PR down to the 100th of a second. And if you knew Milt, that's how he was. You couldn't think of Medina distance running without Mill Place coming to mind. I hope one day I leave a lasting impression like Milt did for me and so many others. I'll give you a quick story. That day I came home from work and Milt was painting my house. And he got down that ladder so fast. He come walking over and he says, I just called Phil Burr, told him that this little girl, I think her name is Anna, she's going to be the next runner for Medina City Schools, so you need to keep an eye on her. And Milton knew that day that Anna had a little extra in her tank. So it was kind of cool. I could go on about the countless people at Medina who were a part of my community, but like I said, in the beginning, the people who helped, encouraged, and were in my corner at Medina played a role into who I am today. I hope to take the tools I've learned and continue to give back to the sport that I love, all of which may have never been possible without my start at Medina. So thank you once again for this honor. Thank you everyone who helped me, and thank you to this wonderful Medina community. I'm so incredibly proud to be a Medina Bee. I would like to leave you with one simple daily note. 4 things to remember every single day. Number 1, the past cannot be changed. Number 2, happiness is found within. Number 3, kindness is free. And number 4, you only fail if you quit. Thanks for everything, and a warrior.
I'm sure you'll pass on our congratulations. Our next inductee is Brian Farron. He is honored in the category of Cultural Performing Arts for his work with the Medina Historical Society, among other notable accomplishments. A few of his friends have these words to share.
I've had the privilege of knowing Brian Farron since we rode on a school bus together as kids. Between the Able Girls, the Wood Boys, and the Farron clan, we took up a large number of seats on the bus. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Brian's nickname was Fudd in those early years. I just had to get that in. Roy T. Bennett once said, "If you have a strong purpose in life, you don't have to be pushed. Your passion will drive you there." One of the things I recall about Brian, even at an early age, was his passion for his hometown of Medina. Whether through involvement in the Key Club, Medina High School athletic events, community parades, you name it, Brian was always there to help. His warm smile and calm presence always made it a joy to work alongside with him. We enjoyed some great times at The Ohio State University together, and when everyone else graduated and moved away to start their careers, Brian moved back to Medina to live near his family. Medina was where he was meant to be. His passion for service continued, and he became involved with a very active JC's group during his 20s. Sadly, it was around that time that Brian lost his father. Brian later joined Medina Rotary Club, where he developed friendships and bonds with many of the Rotarians like Ralph Waite and Don Tubbs and my father, Carl Abel. I believe that those men and others in the community helped Brian navigate some of the challenges after the loss of a father by serving as role models and providing him guidance. Anyone who knows Brian is in awe of his knowledge and passion for history. After a successful career of which he was hesitant to retire, Brian finally did. It was at that time he poured himself and everything he had into the Historical Society, where his workload increased expeditiously. His new role took on some impressive and ambitious tasks, and when the McDowell Phillips House opportunity presented itself, he carefully sought opinions and advice from community leaders, friends, and an array of connections in Medina. Many know that one of Brian's strengths is that he serves as a good listener as well. Brian's leadership with the Historical Society has brought an invigorated energy for the organization and Medina. Brian, his wife Carol, the board, and their numerous talented volunteers have accomplished many things over these past years. They've not only made Medina's history even more interesting, they brought a lot of fun together through further contributions by friends and Brian's fun-loving family members. Brian's passion as a loyal, selfless, and dedicated community servant make him so worthy of this distinguished honor. Brian, you have made a difference in Medina, and I'm so sorry I couldn't be there tonight to celebrate with you, but I know your parents, Brother Tim, and my dad are proudly beaming from above right now. We all just couldn't be prouder of you. Congratulations, dear friend.
I'm Don Spickler. I've known Brian Farron for almost 30 years, most of the time that I've lived in Medina. I can't speak much about Brian's background before I met him. However, I do know of his graduation from OSU, his Distinguished Service Award with the JCs, his dedication to the Medina County home, and his stellar career in customer service management. We've traded a lot of work stories, and it's been easy for me to see that he was a conscientious manager, leading by example, with an ultimate goal of making employees and the company better. Brian and I first met through the Medina Rotary Club. Our club was very active, and we were able to get to know each other while working on community service projects, such as building pavilions, highway cleanup, fundraising activities, and hosting foreign exchange students. Brian and his wife Carol hosted students in their home from Germany, Poland, and Thailand. Brian traveled to Korea as part of a Rotary International Group Study Exchange, was club president, and a Paul Harris Fellow. Rotary's motto is service above self. Brian lives this every day. When you work closely with someone in a volunteer capacity, you learn a lot about their career, family, personal beliefs, and certainly their character. Family and faith go hand in hand with Brian. As a lifelong devout Catholic, Brian's service to the church and related charities certainly does not take a back seat to his many community activities. My wife Alice and I have gotten to know Brian and Carol and Brian's family on a more personal basis and have become great friends. We are blessed to be associated with such a caring family. During recent years, I became more familiar with Brian's passion for local history and his ability to quench this thirst through the Medina County Historical Society. As president, with the help of Carol and dedicated directors, historians, and volunteers, he is making his vision come to life through the John Smart House and McDowell Phillips House museums. These labors of love for Brian are quickly becoming Medina's treasures. When you hear the name Brian Farron, hopefully you will think of him as I do, a devoted family man with strong religious faith, a leader and visionary, and a tireless community servant, passionate about making Medina a better place for all of us.
Brian, please come on up to get your award.
Wow. That really was my nickname growing up, and I hadn't heard it mentioned for quite some time, so I will thank Becky for that a little later on. To my fellow recipients, classmates, colleagues, and this tremendous staff that put this event together, I'm honored to be selected with such a distinguished group. It is certainly a memory I will cherish. I thank all of you and my family of 3 tables and my wife Carol for being here to share in this moment. As we reflected on this cultural designation, I kidded Jeannie when she called me. I said, I can't be nominated for my athletic or academic achievements. They were okay, but certainly nothing worthy of Hall of Fame. But I thought to myself when she explained the category, culture has many meanings in our lives. To some it is art, to others it's an ethnic bond, yet others see it as a defining work of many things that form the fabric of our society. I've had the privilege to volunteer with many organizations and people who have made our community better. It started with the school system and Key Club. But service to the community has just not meant projects to raise money or to raise funds. It has meant an opportunity for students to receive scholarships. It's an opportunity for students to go to Buckeye Boys State or Girls State and develop leadership skills that last a lifetime. An opportunity for families to enjoy those pavilions you saw in the video, to gather for a family picnic and share those memories that live with families for many, many years beyond. A walk in the park built by the JCs or supported by our other great service clubs in Medina. For those special needs individuals, it might mean a cabin for respite at Camp Paradise and those wonderful facilities we have in our county to help families with special needs, children and adults. Those all happen with a lot of contributions from many groups in this community. That's what I call the culture of our community. And to work on parades and firework displays, square decorations, all those things we've done in the past with other groups, that I've had the privilege of joining, those bring great memories to all our families. How many times did we repeat the word family and community tonight? I think we all know the culture of what Medina creates and the environment that we promote, and it all started back with our great teachers and mentors. My work with the County Historical Society is a testimony to the actions so many have accomplished. Preserving our history for future generations is our cultural link from the past to the present and to the future. I was fortunate to have so many great mentors, and still do, to learn more about our area and how we can share those memories. Our County Historical Society and the museums are that window to those who came before us and helped construct the culture we define as our community today. The Medina area is so fortunate to have people dedicated to making the community better each year. I see many in this audience that participate in many, many ways, too numerous to count at this event. I was fortunate to work alongside those folks for many years and still do. Our museums are first rate. The Historical Society started over 100 years ago with people to have the foresight and vision to tell the stories to the next generations. They felt it was important to establish who we were, how we worked and lived, and what the culture was over the years that they wished to share in the future. I am proud to continue that mission, and I certainly thank this board and the foundation for this great honor tonight. Thank you for making it all possible, and I look forward to continued success with all of you. Thank you very much. Take my award.
Congratulations. Our next inductee is Casey McCoy Stiefvater. Casey is a 1999 graduate of Medina High School and is best known for excelling in the world of soccer, both at the high school and collegiate level. Let's hear more about Casey's story.
Good evening. Tonight we recognize Casey McCoy Stiefvater in the category of athletic accomplishments. Casey, class of 1999, excelled in the world of soccer. A four-year starter at Medina, Casey helped lead the Bees to a state championship in 1997. In 1996, Casey scored 23 goals and had 8 assists. She was the MVP in the county, first-team All-Star for the Plain Dealer, and All-Ohio first team. In 1997, she again was the MVP in the county, first team in the Pioneer Conference, and first team Beacon Journal and Plain Dealer. The highlight of that senior season was that she was the Ohio Player of the Year in Division I and was named an All-American. After graduating from Medina, she went on to play soccer at Northwestern University. She was a 4-year starter and a 2-time captain of the Wildcats. In their senior year, she led the team in assists and was the 3rd leading scorer. In 2001, she was on the All-Big Ten tournament team, and as a freshman, Casey's fondest memory of playing collegiate soccer was helping the Wildcats reach the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament.
Unfortunately, Casey cannot be here this evening, but we congratulate her on her many accomplishments. Our next inductee is Tracy Robinson Ruffin. Tracy is a 1984 graduate of Medina High School and is recognized for her academic, career, and life accomplishments. She is an integral part of the nonprofit organization Sister Circle Medina, serving as president, and is on several boards demonstrating her dedication to the Medina community. Let's hear about Tracy's story.
Even though Tracy Ruffin and I went to the same high school, I didn't fully get to know Tracy until she joined Leadership Medina County. If you know Tracy, there's no question where Tracy puts her trust and what she treasures. She speaks up and is willing to share her perspective. In 2019, we brought Elizabeth Eckford for a community webinar and allowed participants to ask her questions about her experience desegregating a school as one of the Little Rock Nine. The story brought Tracy to tears, and I was riveted. We both walked away with Elizabeth's words of wisdom. Every voice in the community is important. If you are silent, then someone else is speaking for you. Tracy brings her voice to the table and uses her voice for the good of others and for the good of the community. Her leadership is making a difference in Medina County.
Tracy Ruffin is a phenomenal woman. She walks through life with such grace and makes things look effortless. And I don't want to talk about the things that you guys can Google or read on LinkedIn or that you're probably going to learn about her today. I want to talk about some of the things that maybe you don't see that I am privileged to because she's my mother. She's so loving and so kind and so supportive. Back in 2020, when the world shut down, I decided to keep my oldest son, Isaiah, home from school. And he was entering his freshman year of high school, so, he had the basics of school. But she made sure that he understood everything, and she was there for him every step of the way. She's such a fun grandma, even to the little ones like Jacoby, who she'll run around the house with, and they have all these cute little inside joke things that sometimes I don't even get, but I just love that relationship. My grandma is aging, and she has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and that journey not very many people can understand and relate to, but it is challenging. And she is there for her, and she walks through this journey with such grace, and I'm honestly amazed by her. Tracy is accomplished, and you're going to learn more about that, I'm sure, today. But the fact behind the matter is she accomplishes these things while being a full-time employee, while being assistant pastor and church secretary, a women's ministry leader, while having her own nonprofit that is active in the community. And I can keep going on and on and on. She wears so many hats. She speaks at conferences, and she's there for other women, and she does counseling and all of these things. And I just sit back in amazement at how she's able to juggle these things. She's detail-oriented, and I used to say OCD. Sorry, Mom. But the older that I get, the more I respect the fact that everything has a place, and that excellence is reflected in the small things like a straight tablecloth, or a picture on a wall being straight, or greeting people on time. All those things that I have come to learn as lessons from her are intangible things. And so while she is accomplished and has won awards and certificates and has made many contributions to Medina, she has made so many contributions to my life personally, and that will carry on for generations as she continues to for her grandchildren and for everyone else. And so I'm so happy that other people saw what I always see, and that she is going to be inducted into Medina Hall of Fame.
Tracy, if you can come down to accept your award.
Wow, that was really nice. I'll have to pay them when I see them. So I figured I could either be the most popular by making my speech really short, or I could be unpopular because I am a Baptist preacher and I have no problems finding words to say. But first, I would like to thank God for this opportunity, because quite honestly, without His grace, this wouldn't even be possible. But thank you to the Hall of Fame, to the Medina City Schools Foundation, to the Student Council, and to the Hall of Fame Committee. I was going to give this big story I was thinking about, but because Brian was inducted for the class of 2021. It kind of told the story I was going to start with, so the year was 1983. But I remember, even though I'm class of 84, I was a junior in high school in the year of 1983, and I was part of the varsity cheerleading squad that cheered the miracle of Medina onto state. And Dawn, who I knew back then as Hefner, who is now Dawn Peters, there she is. I know when they asked Jay to stand, he stood, and she might have, but I seen you, Jay, across the room, but Dawn, I'm sorry, I may have missed you. But that was probably one of the greatest times in my high school life, is when we went to state. I remember Mr. Darner. I remember all of those things. And I want to thank Miss Pritchard, Miss Jeannie Pritchard, who we affectionately call Pritch. And she has no idea how much she has impacted my life all through high school, from the times the cheerleading squad would go to her house for dinner, to the times they would drive us, her and Jeff Ebley would drive us to our away games. Remember that, Dawn? We had so much fun. I'm sorry. So I'm so honored just to be part of this amazing group of people. Quite honestly, I'm quite humbled. I don't know if it's anything that I've done so great to be standing here before all of you people, but I wanted to just say I'm honored to be in the ranks with some of those other Miracle of Medina people who are here tonight, right? So just let me just name a few, because these are the guys I went to school with. Jay, as I said, Jay Peters, Joe Laser, Russ Kodolak, Rich Doyle. Rich, you're in the room? Yeah. Rich Doyle, and then Brian, this as a 2021 inductee, and myself. And so in the words of Rich Doyle, when I talked to him recently, he said, "We didn't do too bad." So yeah, I don't think we did too bad. But I just wanted to make sure I thank everyone for this opportunity, and most importantly, my husband, who is here with me, Pastor Ruffin. Could you wave your hand, honey? Back there in the corner, yes. My husband, Pastor Ruffin, and my daughter, Ashley, who you heard her voice, who couldn't be here tonight because she was a guest speaker at Feeding Medina County's gala. That was tonight. And so I have a table full of people who always hold my arms up when I need them the most, biggest supporters. And I want to thank you all. I know it's way past our bedtime, and we have to move the clocks forward. So can you all just wave, all of you that came this evening? Thank you so much for your time. And thank you all, and God bless.
Congratulations again. Our final inductee of the evening is not an individual. It's the 50-plus class reunion committee, and it is the definition of tradition. These graduates of Medina High School have found a creative way to get classmates together each summer for a reunion of those alumni who graduated at least 50 years ago. Let's listen to the meaning of this tradition.
How do traditions begin? My name is Deborah Halleck, and I am a proud Medina legacy. My grandmother, Clara Ulmer Halleck, graduated in 1908. My father, Macy Halleck, graduated in 1943, and I graduated in 1970. I discovered the Medina 50-plus reunion when I started attending with my dad, something he looked forward to every single year. I came to know Owen Blakesley through my family in the 50-plus reunions. Owen, chair of the Medina 50-plus reunion, and his committee members Roy Lehman, Rita Dreibelbis-Franz, Doris Coudray, and Lily Jean Baker-Haydad, and now Kiwanis, have picked up the ball to continue the Medina High School 50-plus reunion for all classes to enjoy. Each year in July, graduates celebrating 50-plus years since graduation, like Becky Wyman McClure, a Handshoe legacy, are invited to a luncheon and an opportunity to catch up. They are assisted by a cadre of volunteers, and seated by class, bees gather from across the country. Attendance peaked at 451 year, with about one-third coming from out of state. The reunion brings together friends and families like Dr. Robert Wilder, class of 1970, and his mother, Hope Huffman Wilder, class of 44. Familiar faces every year have been Betty Alliard Rigger, 42, Hope Huffman Wilder, 44, Jean Plants Lloyd, 43, Julie Lloyd Duncan, 75, Helen Keeper Sherrance, 42. And best friends were also reunited from the class of 1970, Deborah Halleck and Melissa Eddy, who traveled from Austin, Texas. Joni Anderson Bidding and Chuck Macy are always familiar faces around town and at the reunion. And the large room and luncheon facilities always allow people to mix and mingle. Suddenly, those years in between classes don't matter anymore. The class of 1970 was well represented in their first reunion with classmates Doris Davis Baylor, Reverend Sinisa Henderson Peterson, and Kim Duringer, with classmate and President Tim Holston, who traveled from Columbus and promises to be back. The class of 65 always has a strong turnout with Karen, Kay, Becky, Holly, Jan, Patricia, Cheryl, and Roger Smalley and Jan Post are a large part of Medina history and enjoy catching up at our many reunions. It is nice to see our high school sweethearts still married and attending. Maynard Bauer and his wife, Betty Behrens Bauer, and David Hyde and his wife, Joyce Parrish Hyde. My class of 1970 had a particularly interesting 50th year in 2020, and that the world shut down due to COVID, and the reunion was canceled for the first time ever. We were all smiles to celebrate our 50-plus reunion and gathered a record number of classmates at our luncheon, including Jean Pritchard, Phyllis Fetzer, Candace Davis Herman, Nancy Bean Peacock, and Vicki Crane Block. Chuck Davis is a popular reunion regular and seems to know everyone, including Joyce Shawwagel and David Eichmann. Murray Van Epp and Billy Myers from the class of 67 returned to Medina to make reunion rounds and stay for summer festivities, while Joyce Anderson Camiotti and her husband Richard Camiotti attend the annual reunion and enjoy the program. Robert Hyde, Chuck Macy, and John Schinderholz take a moment to share a laugh and history. Mayor Dennis Hanwell presents Owen Blakesley with a City of Medina proclamation honoring and recognizing him for his longtime work leading the 50-plus combined reunion. How do traditions begin? This one started in 1932 with the Hanshew siblings and their commitment to Medina and Medina High School. The torch passed through different generations, landing in Owen's capable hands. Owen and his committee have brought the 50-plus reunion to the success it is today. Every reunion ends with the Medina fight song. We sing the praise of our Medina and look forward to the next year. Thank you, Owen, and the 50-plus committee for helping us to continue making memories.
Hi, I'm Becky Wyman McClure. I am the daughter of Helen Hanshew Wyman and the niece of Lloyd Hanshew. I graduated from Medina High School in the year of 1965, and I'm here to tell you a story. One day, many, many years ago in 1985, my mother was on the phone with her brother, and they were discussing their class reunions that were coming up and how few members there were. So they decided that wouldn't it be neat if we met together with the classes because we know everybody. And so from that phone call, and at the time it was very hectic because my two nephews were running around the house, my mother's house, and my sister was there, came the Medina 50-year class reunion. And they started it, and they went to like local restaurants and just used a small banquet room. And from that, it has grown into what it is now. Thank you.
I'm Roy Lehman, a friend and neighbor of Owen Blakesley's. I was invited by Owen to join his over 50 Medina High School Class Reunion Committee about 5 years ago, along with Rita Dreibelbus France, our Secretary-Treasurer. 350 MHS graduates of over 50 years had met at Weymouth Country Club on the second Wednesday of each July to celebrate 50 years of our lives since we graduated from Medina High School. Last year, we moved our luncheon location to the Galaxy in Wadsworth. Even with the change and longer drive, we had a good crowd, excellent food, service, venue, and price. Owen comes back to Medina each spring from his winter home in Colorado, where he is a ski instructor at Beaver Creek Ski Resort. His first week back, he digs in to send out invitations to our over 50 Medina High School class reunion luncheon. For the next 3 months, several hundred hours are spent by Owen accumulating, adding new names of the incoming class, making address, email, phone number changes, sending out over 1,000 invitations, and posting meal orders and payments. It is amazing to me to watch when the time comes how his computer will print out mailing labels, name tags, meal choice tickets, table number seating locations, and classmate attendees lists at the click of his finger. There must be something that happens at these luncheons that keeps Owen and past committee members coming back after all the work and then getting complaint letters following. Maybe seeing the Medina High School graduate from New Jersey, seeing a classmate they haven't seen for over 50 years because they live in California, or a couple of classmates both still living in Medina County running into each other for the first time in half a century. A big thank you to all those committee members that got our over 50 reunion luncheon started and kept it going all these years. Doris Coudray, Sheila Gibson, Lloyd and Helen Hanshew, Becky McClure, and Owen Blakesley. We are planning on returning to the Galaxy on Wednesday, July 12th, again this year, but we are keeping Owen's health in our prayers as he skis down those Colorado Rockies at his ripe old age.
I believe we have some representatives from the committee. Come on up.
Well, I thought there would be some others in the group that would be joining me. However, as with everyone else, we have a lot of thanks to pass around. First of all, of course, it's a great honor. Totally unexpected in my case. I hope it doesn't mean that the next 12 years I need to continue on the committee to be sure that I deserve this. But there are many, many people that really deserve the thanks and the honor. And they're, first of all the people that ever served on the planning committee. And there's only about 3 at a time that do so. There are, of course, the volunteers that help us at the reunion itself. And all of those members here, those that have been to our reunion, please hold up your hand just so that we can get an idea. Quite a few, and I hope a great many others of you that haven't reached your 50th year yet, please join us. Thanks again.
If we can have one more round of applause for all the inductees this evening. Community support of this event, the school district, the foundation, and other supporting organizations is critically important to the health of our schools and the community. On behalf of the foundation, Medina City Schools, and the Medina High School Student Council, I would like to thank each of you for your attendance tonight, this evening, and providing that support. We look forward to 2025 when we'll induct the next 2 classes of 2023 and 2024. As we bring the event to a close, if the inductees would please come to the front, we're going to take a few group photos. And for all the attendees, the flowers as the centerpieces, please take those home. Please don't fight over them, but take them home and consider that a gift from us. Please drive safely. Have a good night.